I started drumming at a very young age. You might think that it was a lifelong hobby of mine. But in fact, it wasn't. Throughout the 11 years of drumming, it has changed me a lot. And it has shaped me into who I am now. How did it exactly change me? When I was 4, my mother and I started to explore my hobbies. The process was actually very difficult. Nothing seemed to catch my attention, like the guitar or the piano. I didn't like them. But when I came in contact with drumming, I got the gist of it really quickly. And my mom thought that it would be a great hobby for me to develop it. But in fact, I didn't like it at that time. It was just hitting things with sticks. It was not rhythmic in any way. But for the sake of satisfying my mother, I went on drumming. I was a kid with a very bad temper when I was around 7 or 8. I would always throw tantrums at the smallest things. Maybe like one criticism from a friend. Or maybe one mistake that I make. It would always trigger me. My friends always had to calm me down and to comfort me. Tell me that I'm fine. But the situation usually worsens. I would scream and shout, and they couldn't stand it, and they just run away. My friends dealing with this weekly, or even daily. They start to get annoyed and irritated about how I always threw tantrums at the smallest things. And they weren't happy with me. And this is where I started to lose friends. I was alone facing this problem. And I took a huge hit because of this. My drumming lessons continued weekly. And I started to vent out my anger and emotions on the drum kit. It sounded something like this. Doing this weekly doesn't seem to be solving the root of the problem. It was actually just alleviating the effects of it. But seeing that how it helped me relieve my stress and anger at that time, I was thinking of concentrating in lessons, paying more attention to the teacher, and maybe doing some preparations beforehand. This process was not easy at all. It was very difficult. It was mainly due to the increasing pressure and expectations from my parents, my teachers, and especially myself. The more I tried harder, the more mistakes I made. I saw myself as a failure. I thought that I'll never be a good drummer. And the stress and pressure on me just keeps increasing and increasing. Those are really, really hard times. The more I tried to avoid my mistakes, the more pressure puts on me. I had thoughts of giving up. I thought that I wasn't a successful drummer at all. I hated myself at that time. I didn't want to go on. I want to leave it all behind. One day, I didn't go to my drum lesson. And I thought about my years of drumming, from the simplest beats to the more complex beats. with more fill-ins and technicality. I've improved a lot. Seeing how I've improved throughout the years, I was really proud of myself. And I decided to continue my journey of drumming. For the next few years, up until now, I'm still in the stage of exploration, discovery, and to foster my creativity. I started to experiment new beats, new styles of drumming. I read books, watched videos about new techniques. This stage is endless, because what the world has to offer to you is endless. There's just so much that the world could offer to you, and you could explore endlessly along this journey. Drumming has changed me a lot. I wasn't the person I used to be. My temper improved, acknowledging the fact that everybody makes mistakes, and mistakes are for you to improve. Because of this change, a lot of my friends came back to me, congratulating me, saying that you've changed a lot. Along the way, I also met a lot of new friends. Some of my teachers saw this change too. And they started to assign more roles and tasks to me. They trusted me more than I was before, helping me to accomplish and achieve better. Drumming has been a major role in my life and my growing process. It accompanied me through my ups and downs. Whenever I'm happy or sad, I could always go back to the kit to express my feelings and emotions freely throughout the kit. I was really proud of myself because I changed a lot during the process, these 11 years. Of course, there will be times of defeat, anger, frustration, thoughts of giving up. But my wit told me not to give up. It told me not to leave these 11 years behind. All of the hard work I've paid on, and I stayed. Finding something you're passionate in, or maybe your hobby, is very important. Just like me, it will change you too. If you just hang in there, you'll get there eventually. Seeing how you've overcame so many obstacles along the way, trying to stop you, trying to drag you down. But eventually, you got there. And looking back at it, you'll be proud of yourself. You'll be glad you never gave up. Thinking that it was all worth it. And never, ever regretting your decision.